Hey guys, welcome back to eFishin. I'm Rodney, and today, well, we've been down here on the Salt River doing a little white bass fishing, and well, we've caught a few fish today, but we're not really going to show you about fishing or catching fish today. We're going to talk about what lures you guys can bring down here to catch some of these white bass at the Salt River. I've seen on some of the forums and whatnot, and even talked to a few people down here, like, what do you use down here to catch white bass? So today, we're going to talk about 5 lures that you can bring down here to catch white bass with. So y'all hang tight, let's get started. So, lure number 1 is your trusty little old grubs like these. They're small, they're like 2 inches. Even this little Bobby Garland shad here is a good choice. And you just take these things and you can throw them out and just bring them in a slow wind. So whites, even the black one, will catch fish down here. So white and black is going to be kind of a theme of colors on baits down here. So lure number 1 is your little shad type baits. They're small, probably 2 to 3 inches, and I would fish those. Well, I do fish them just on a small little jig head like this right here, and that's a 3/32, but an 1/8 or a 1/16, somewhere in there is key. Now the key to it is use the lightest jig head that you can get away with, depending on the depth of water that you're fishing and the current. So remember that. Adjust your weight based on the depth and the current. All right. Bait number 2 is this little deal right here. It's just a shad looking swim bait. It's an 1/8 ounce, I believe, and it's about 2.5 to 3 inches long. Even the 2 inches, 1.5, any of those sizes that are small like this are good. And these are really good when the shad start showing up in the river, and they usually start showing up, you know, they're here now. So these suckers right here, they'll work because they're keying in on, or they can key in on those gizzard shad that are showing up in the river. Bait number 3 is just your trusty old rooster tail. And I like black, and I also like white. And I'll just rotate between black and white sometimes and see which ones they want. Sometimes they want the black one, sometimes they want the white one. And then sometimes I'll even throw a yellow one, and that sometimes will work. I don't know why. One day they'll like the yellow, then the next day they'll want the black or white. You just got to keep changing up. It changes every day down here of what they'll hit. Get you a couple of rooster tails, and these are 1/16, I believe, or an 1/8 ounce. Stick with the small ones. You'll catch a few fish on them. So bait number 4 is just your trusty old Rapala. I think this is a 6 or a 7. Something like that. The floating ones, even the countdown ones are good. But you just work these like little jerk baits. The floating ones, you can let them float on top. They'll come up and grab that thing. Sometimes you gotta work on your retrieve, so you can just throw that thing out there, give it a pop, let it float back to the top. Do another pop, let it float back to the top. If they want it on top, they'll come up and hit it like that. Otherwise, you can take it and give it 2 or 3 jerks, and give it a pause, and then give it 2 or 3 more jerks. Just vary your retrieve, see what works. But that little Rapala right there, that's caught a lot of fish down here for me over the years. That color right there, black and silver. If you buy one, get that one right there. Lure number 5, and it might be one of my favorite techniques down here, is just a little tiny hair jig in either black or white. And sometimes I don't have the pink head on it, but just happen to have this one handy. But the pink head sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. You got to vary it up, change it up. But that little hair jig, Popeye type jig, fished under a bobber, has probably caught me more fish down here than any other lure I've got. So little hair jig, and you want to fish it about, I don't know, 12 to 18 inches underneath the bobber. Sometimes if you're fishing in a deeper hole, you want to fish it a little deeper. If you're fishing in shallow water, shorten it up. Sometimes it might only be 6 to 8 inches that I fish it underneath the bobber. But one of my favorite ways to catch them is a little hair jig under a bobber. You can also fish these Barbie Garlands and the little grubs and stuff under a bobber too sometimes. So keep that in mind. If you're fishing a little grub and you're not getting any hits on it, keep one of these in your pocket. And I like these little pair floats right here like this. It's got the weight on it. Helps get your bait out there a little farther and catch you a few fish. So, well, I'm Rodney with eFishin. I hope this helps you guys out a little bit on what to fish with down here. Like I said, I heard some people talking about what to fish, what kind of lures and whatnot. So that's kind of my rotation there. I'll kind of take them 5 lures and rotate between them, and usually throughout the day I'll figure something out that they'll eat one of them or 2 or something. And I guess here's a bonus tip. If you guys are, say, fishing, let's say this yellow rooster tail, and you're catching fish on that in a hole, and it just seems like it goes, there's a light switch flips and they quit biting on that, pick your black one up, put it on, and throw it out there. Sometimes all it takes is a little color change, and it'll fire them fish right back up, and you'll start catching fish again. So anyways, I'm Rodney with eFishin. If y'all like this stuff, make sure you give it a thumbs up. More important, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up with the channel and whatnot. And we'll see y'all out here on the river sometime, maybe. If y'all see me, come by and say hi. We'll see y'all out here. We're gone.